Hello students. So today we are going to start with the mock test 4, Re-NEET mock test 4. So let us start. I am Susobhan Sir for you. So this is our question number 46 and this is a question which is asked from a very important chapter, that is coordination compounds. So in this question this is a list matching question. So 4 compounds are given and their corresponding hybridization and their magnetic behavior is asked here. So we have to just simply match them. So let us check the first compound, that is of platinum PtNH3 whole 4 2 plus. So let me just show you the case. So we know the PT, the configuration for PT is 4F14 5D9 6X1. So it is the PT in this compound is in +2 oxidation state, and the ligand here present is a strong field ligand. It is a strong field ligand, remember. So if we do the configuration here, so we see that it is 5D8 6S0 and 6P0, and after the pairing of the electrons we are left out with a incomplete DS6S and 2 6Ps are taken. Why? Because here you can see also the coordination number is equals to 4, so only 4 ligands will donate their lone pair here, and so we will be seeing 6 4 ligands which will be donating here. So the hybridization possible will be DsP2, and as you can see there is no kind of unpaired electron here. There is no unpaired electron, so it will be a diamagnetic. So the second one, if we consider, it is of manganese. This is a question where you can see the manganese is in which oxidation state? It is in +3 oxidation state. So the configuration here is 3D4. So as the ligand present in this case is a strong field ligand, that is there is a cyanide molecule. So we can think that the due to as there is coordination number 6, the field which is present here is octahedral. So due to octahedral splitting, there will be a T2G and EG set, 3 orbitals of T2G and 2 of EG, of that is will be of higher energy. So if we fill up, the filling up will be like this, because as due to the presence of a strong field ligand, the splitting will be high and the pairing energy will be low. So it will be better to pair up here. So we will be getting a configuration, a hybridization, that will be a D2sp3, and there are 2 unpaired electrons present here, so it will be a paramagnetic in nature. So according to this solution, if we go back to our question and mark it, and you can see here that PT is basically DsP2 and diamagnetic, okay, and this MnCN6 3 minus will be D2sp3 paramagnetic. So from this, if we check out the options, so the correct one will be option 1. So hopefully you understand this part. You can also check the rest of the 2 compounds. It will also match. So we have to do in minimum amount of time. So if we go to our next question, this question number 47 is a question from organic portion, and it is from a named reaction. Hopefully you can understand that it is giving a reagent which is basic and it is highly concentrated KOH. So and the compound given here is benzaldehyde. So benzaldehyde will undergo a reaction that is known as Cannizzaro reaction. So this is, you know already that it is a what kind of reaction? It is a disproportionation reaction. So if it is a disproportionation reaction, so one mole will get oxidized and another mole will get reduced. So the compound, corresponding compound we can expect from here, it is a potassium benzoate, and this is the oxidized part, and one mole, another mole will be reduced, that will be alcohol, and this specific compound is benzyl alcohol. So if we compare the if we go through the options, so the correct one will be this one. So hopefully did you understand this question? Okay, so we move on to our next question. Okay, so this is a question from chemical bonding, and in this question it is asking that which among the following pairs is isoelectronic, which of the following is isoelectronic and isostructural. So isoelectronic means the species will have same number of electrons, and the isostructural means their structures will be also similar. So if we see that the first option, that is of PCl3 and ClF3, I hope you can understand that PCl3 will have a structure like this, and ClF3 will be like this. So first criteria is not met here in this case, because both are not same, as this is a pyramidal type and this is a T shaped. So, or rather a bent T shape. So this is not. So if we go to our next option, that is NH3 and H3O plus. So in this case, if I check it out, so NH3 will be this, and H3O plus will be like this. Both are having same kind of hybridization, and if we count on the electrons also, so 7 plus 7 for nitrogen, 7 plus 1 into 3, that is 10 in this case, 10 electrons, and in this case also it will be 10 electrons, and we have to subtract 1 because positive is present here. So both are having the same structure as well as same number of electrons also. So we can go on with the second option, that is the NH3 and the H3O plus. Okay, fine. So let us move to the next question. So students, you can see that this is a very common type of question from the chapter Ionic Equilibrium. So in this question, it is saying that the pKb of dimethylamine and pKa of acetic acid are 3.27 and 4.77 respectively at 25 degrees centigrade. So it is asking the pH of the diethyl ammonium acetate solution. So you know that this is a case where a weak acid and a dimethyl, a weak base is involved, and the solution will be a salt of weak acid plus weak base. So to find out the pH of this kind of salt solution, we have a formula that is equals to half into pKw plus pKa minus pKb. Okay, so we know the value of the pKw is equals to 14 provided at 25 degrees centigrade. So it will be 7 plus pKa by 2 minus pKb by 2. So if we put the individual values of the pKa and the pKb, so let us calculate that. 7 plus 4.77 minus 3.27, 7 plus, it is approximately 1.5. So 7 plus 0.75, that is 7.75. So the correct option will be option number 3. So please remember this, try to remember this formula, and you can see that the this pH does not depend on the concentration, rather on the pKa values of the weak acid and the weak base. Remember this part. So we move to the next question. So this question is a reagent based question, rather it is asking that there are two functional groups present here. One is aldehyde and another one is carboxylic acid. So it is given NaBH4, that is sodium borohydride. So sodium borohydride is not so strong kind of reducing agent, not, or rather I can say it is a milder reducing agent compared to others, and this NaBH4 reagent is unable to reduce our carboxylic acid part, as the reagent which is involved here is hydride ion. So hydride ion is not involved in reduction of the carboxylic acid, you have to remember, but it can easily reduce the aldehyde to the corresponding alcohol. So the product we can get here is CH2OH, and the carboxylic acid part will remain untouched. So, so suppose if any other reagents like lithium aluminum hydride was used in this case, so both of them can easily be reduced. But in this case, only the aldehyde portion is reduced, not the carboxylic acid. Remember this part. So the correct option will be option number 1. Okay, so next we move to our okay. So question number 51. So it is asking that select most acidic species. So this is a very good question. So in this case, we have to compare the acidity, that is of H3PO2, H3PO3 and H3PO4. So students, you know, generally the acidity in these kind of oxo acids is compared using the oxidation states. So if you compare the oxidation states, so it will be +1, +3 and +5. But this is a kind of special case where this rule does not hold this, and the acidity order is just the opposite. So if you go along with the trend, the expected acidity order will be this, but this is not the case. Remember that in this case, what is happening? The acidity is just the reverse. So try to remember this question. Uh, it is so if we want to go through that, so we can also add the pKa values here. So the pKa value will be about for H3PO2 is around 1.2, and for H3PO3 is pKa is 2.0, and around H3PO4 is pKa will be around 2.1. So we know that actually the pKa, lesser the pKa value, higher will be the acidity. So this is actually a counterintuitive thing. If this will not follow the higher the oxidation state or higher will be the acidity, this trend will be not followed in this particular case. So you have to go through the pKa values to remember this part. So the correct option will be the most acidic one will be it is having the lowest pK among these three. So the correct option will be option number 1. So hopefully you understood that part. The next question is from again from a very good chapter, physical chemistry chapter, that is chemical kinetics. So this is again a list matching question. So you have to match the list. So let us see. So in the first listing, list 1 A, so it is asking that rate of reaction does not depend on concentration. So rate of reaction does not depend on concentration. So you can understand from the statement that it is asking for a order reaction of order 0. So it is asking for a 0 order reaction. So let us match for which of the following graphs actually relate with that. So if you check out the option C here, S here, in this case we know the equation for a 0 order reaction is like A naught minus AT equals to KT. So AT is equals to minus KT plus A naught. So y is equals to mx plus c if we follow the order. So the graph will be following this trend, and it will be a straight line equation. So A is matching with S. A is matching with S. Okay. So the next one is when initial concentration doubles, half life of the reaction becomes half, or any other option you can check. Let us check one more. Suppose okay, so option B. So let us, after A it is B. So half life of the reaction does not depend on the concentration. So you know already that half life for first order reaction, that is a first order reaction, the half life will be equals to 0.693 by K. So in this case, this half life does not depend on the initial concentration. So initial concentration, if it not depends, then the correct graph will be okay. So log AT versus T. So this will be the correct option. So it will match. It matches with Q. B matches with Q and A matches with S. So let us check with that. A matches with S and B matches with Q. Okay, so it is having only one option, that is option 3. Okay. So you can also check the other twos for confirmation, but it will not require. Okay, so the next question is from, suppose in a multi-electron atom, which of the following orbitals described by the 3 quantum numbers will have the same energy in the absence of magnetic and electric field. So this question can be easily solved using the rule, Bode-Buddy rule, or N plus L rule, followed for this is only applicable for multi-electron system. For multi-electron system, N plus L rule for multi-electron system. So if we check out the N plus L value, so for this case, N for N1, L0, so it will be 1s. So N2, L1, it will be 2p. And for N equals to 2, L equals to 0, it will be 2s. For N equals to 3, L equals to 2, it will be 3d. And for N equals to 3 and L equals to, this will be also 3d. So you can see that if we add the N plus L values of 3 plus 2, we will be having 5, and in this case also 3 plus 2, it will be also 5. So the N plus L value, if they are same, then the orbitals will be of same energy. So the correct option will be D and E, that is option 1. Okay. So next question is again a list matching kind of question. Here the molecule is provided, and in this case the corresponding bond angles should be matched. So CH4 is a sp3 hybridized, and it is having a bond angle of 109 degree 28 minute. So A matches with 2. BCl2 is sp, it is 180 degree, it is matching with 1. SO3, so you can see here A with 2, A with 2 and B with 1. Okay, so SO3 is 120, sp2 120, so C will be 4. So option 3 is the correct option. And of course OF2 is having angle of 103 degree. Okay, it is also having a bent like shape. Okay, so next question is from ionic equilibrium. So here in this question, it is asked, it has given a compound MOHX has Ksp2 is equals to 4 into 10 to the power minus 12. The solubility product value is given and the solubility is given. So it is asking the value of the X here. So let us solve this question and check this out. So if we ionize this salt, it will ionize like Mx plus XOH minus. So suppose the solubility here is S and then it will be XS. So if we write the solubility equation, so it will be S into XS to the power X. So it will be X to the power X into S to the power X plus 1. So the solubility product value is given, that is given as 4 into 10 to the power minus 12, 4 into 10 to the power minus 12, and this solubility value is given as 10 to the power minus 4 to the power X plus 1, 4 into 10 to the power minus 12. So if we compare these two, parts, so if we put the value of X equals to 2 and put the values, so we will be getting this value. So the correct option will be 2, because 2 square 2 into 10 to the power minus 4 to the power 3 equals to X to the power X, 10 to the power minus 4 to the power X plus 1. So you can see X equals to 2, also X plus 1 equals to 3, X equals to 2. So it is only the X equals to 2 value which is going with this equation if we compare. So our next question is from the organic, and in this case, so the reagent which is given here, bromine in the presence of light. So bromination, the selectivity for bromination is very high for 3 degree, then 2 degree, then 1 degree. So simply we have to check where is the 3 degree hydrogen atom that will be substituted in this case. So in this portion it is of a 2 degree, this hydrogen is of 1 degree, and only this part is for 3 degree. So this hydrogen will get substituted and we will be getting the product as this. So you can remember that one thing, that the selectivity is like 1600 is to 82 is to 1 for the hydrogen atoms, means that this is the selectivity for bromine. So it is very high for the 3 degree, but this scenario will get changed for chlorine. So you have to calculate that part. So the correct option in this case will be option 3. Remember this part. Okay. So again, the next question is from organic, and it is asking that which of the following will produce haloform. Which of the following will form haloform? So, or specifically in this case, it is asking for bromoform. Okay. So remember that the 1 degree and the 3 degree alcohols will not respond to these kind of reactions. Okay. So in this case, this is a 1 degree, this is also 1 degree, this is a 3 degree, but in this case it is a 2 degree one. So what will happen? At first it will get oxidized to form this methyl ketone group. This is important to show the haloform reaction. So easily in this case, if we take Br2 in KOH conditions, we will be getting bromoform. So the correct option will be option 2. So our next question, again, it is asking from organic, from the amines chapter. This is a very easy question. But the case is the conversion of aqueous benzene diazonium salt. So benzene diazonium salt is N2 plus Cl minus. This is benzene diazonium salt, and we need to convert it into, it is asking to convert to bromobenzene. So to convert the benzene diazonium salt to bromobenzene, there are mainly 2 reactions. One is our Sandmar's reaction. In Sandmar's reaction, we use HBr along with Cu2Br2. So cuprous bromide. And one more reaction is there, that is Gattermann reaction. So in Gattermann reaction, we use copper powder along with HBr to get the bromobenzene. But it is very important to note this thing, that this Sandmar's reaction gives a better yield for this case. So but to use the Sandmar's reaction to form the bromobenzene from diazonium salt will be a better choice than the Gattermann reaction, because this gives a better yield here. Remember this part. This is mentioned in the NCERT. Go through the NCERT. So the correct option will be option 4. So next question is a very common question, and these kind of questions are frequently asked nowadays in whatever exams you give, either you give with JEE Mains or NEET. This is very important part. So this is, which of the following statements are wrong? So sulfur is estimated by Carius method as barium sulfate. Yes, it is a correct statement. So, and the next statement is Dumas method. Is used to estimation of nitrogen. Yes, it is also correct. Remember that there is 2 parts. One is quantitative, another one is qualitative analysis. So this is basically, this is the question which is asked from the quantitative analysis part. And Dumas method is the one of the methods to estimate nitrogen in a specific compound, and there is one more, that is Gelder's method. So these two methods are very, very important for your exam perspective. And these two statements are correct, but in the third statement, so it is asking that Gelder's method is used for all nitrogen containing organic compounds. No, this is not correct, because there are few cases where the Gelder's method is not applicable. Like for the, you have to please try to remember this part. One of the cases is azo part. The nitrogens, if it is present in the form of azo, means suppose this is one compound where the nitrogen is present as a azo form, means this compound is known as azobenzene. So in this compound we cannot correctly or measure the amount of nitrogen if the nitrogen is present in this kind of form. Remember this part. Or as nitro group, or as nitro group, suppose nitrobenzene is given. Suppose nitrobenzene is given. In this case also we cannot estimate the amount of nitrogen if it is present as a nitro group. Some other cases, like if the nitrogen is present inside a ring, suppose pyridine. In case of pyridine, or this is quinoline. So as the nitrogens are present inside the ring, we cannot estimate the amount of nitrogen in these compounds. These are the few cases where Gelder's method cannot be applied in these kind of cases. So remember this part. So this is the incorrect statement. And the next one is phosphorus is estimated by Lebig's method. So Lebig's method is one more method where we can also estimate the phosphorus. So I hope you can understand, you remember this part, that this is not the compound where the phosphorus is converted. The compound which is converted to is Mg2P2O7. So this is not the case. So this is also an incorrect statement. So the correct, which of the following statements are wrong, it is asked. So 3 and 4. So option 2. Okay. Okay. So our next question of discussion will be question number 61. So this is a question from thermodynamics portion. So it is asking that it has given the value of the del H naught and the del S naught. And it is asking that the value of del G naught and the temperature at which the reaction reaches equilibrium. Okay, fine enough. So we know this part, that at equilibrium condition, the standard Gibbs free energy becomes equals to 0. And the relation between them, the del H naught and del S naught, is del G naught equals to minus del H naught minus T del S naught. So if this is equals to 0, then T can be written as del H naught by del S naught. So if we put the values, suppose the del H naught value is given 7.5 kilojoule per mole, and del S naught is given as 25 joule Kelvin inverse mole inverse. So as you can see, the units in this case is kilojoule and in this case is joule. So we have to convert the kilojoule into joule. So so if we convert it, we will be having 7500 joule mole inverse, and it will be 25 joule Kelvin inverse mole inverse. So you can see if we divide it, we will be getting 300 Kelvin as our temperature. So the correct option will be 0 and 300. Okay, option 4. Hopefully you understand this part. Okay, so this is again a question from organic part. Uh, so it is asking that which of the following is soluble? Which of the following is soluble in sodium hydroxide solution? So sodium hydroxide solution. So for a compound to be soluble in sodium hydroxide, it requires a acidic hydrogen. Remember this part. So you can see the acidic hydrogen part is present in this case is only one, but in this case there is no acidic hydrogen is present. So this will be this cannot be soluble, and option 3 and option 4 you can see that both are base, they are bases. So if they are bases, then it will be not soluble in base. Okay, so the correct option will be option 1. Okay, so this is a question from the chapter solutions. So it is asking a solution of pyridine and acetic acid will show what kind of deviation or something like that. So let us discuss this part. So you can see that one of them is a base, another is a acid. So there is a possibility of what kind of bonding. There will be a very strong kind of AB interaction, a very strong interaction. AB interaction is very strong compared to AA and BB. So AB interaction is strong. So there will be a large amount of negative deviation will be followed here. So large negative deviation. Large negative deviation. So if there is a large negative deviation, then what kind of azeotrope will be formed? It will form a high boiling azeotrope. So obviously it will form azeotrope in this case also, because so it will show a negative deviation and azeotrope. So option both 2 and 3 are correct. Option 4. Okay. So next is the group which deactivates phenyl towards electrophilic aromatic substitution the most. So whatever be the group, suppose if we take any kind of group here, so electrophile always finds out the benzene ring where the electron density is higher. So if the group is a very strong kind of electron withdrawing group, strong EWG group, so then this benzene ring gets deactivated for electrophilic substitution. So supposedly if we check out the options here, so there are NO2, CHO and fluorine and COO. So the best electron withdrawing group possible in this case is NO2. So it is having both -M and -I effect, which acts as a very strong electron withdrawing effect over the benzene system, and it will quite get deactivated to electrophilic aromatic substitution. So the correct option will be option 1. Okay, next is question number 65. This is a question from tautomerism, or rather a keto-enol tautomerism. In this case, you can see arrange in the decreasing order of the enol contribution. So it is asking for where the enol content or the enol form will be more stable, where the enol content will be highest in a decreasing manner. Okay, so let us check out the option 2. As I can see here, the option 2 forms the aromatic enol, that is phenol in this case. This is the enol form, and as this has become an aromatic form, so it will be very high in stability, and majority of the compound will exist as a enol form only. So this will be the highest. Then if we check out these two, this is a beta diketone where two phenyl groups are attached here. So if we write the enol form, if we write the enol form here, so there is a intramolecular hydrogen bonding, intramolecular H bonding in this case. Also, you can see one more thing that which is specific to this enol form, that is there are two benzene rings which forms a extended conjugation, which shows a extended conjugation with this double bond. So this is a it will show a high amount of enol content, and the third after if we compare it with the third case, so this is a ester. So this ester will actually destabilize the enol form, as because this oxygen will actually make this acidic hydrogens less acidic compared to these. So the correct option will be 1, 2, then 1, then 3. This will also form the intramolecular hydrogen bonding case, but still it will be less stable. The enol form will get less stabilized compared to this part. So the correct option will be 2, 1, 3. 2, 2, 1, 3. So option 3. Okay. So this is a question from redox part, redox chemistry. So this is a tetrathionic acid. So if you have to find out the oxidation states in each of the cases. So sulfur, the contribution of the oxygen for the sulfur will be -2 +2, and for this oxygen will be -2, and for this will be +2. 1 -1 is for the hydrogen, +1, and this -1 is for this part. So the total oxidation number will be, in this case, will be +5. So as these sulfurs are similar atoms don't contribute to each other. So this is also with a similar kind of environment. So this will be the oxidation number for this sulfur will be 0, and for this sulfur will be also 0. So this is also the same type of case. So this sulfur is also in the +5 oxidation number. Okay, so let us check out now that what will be the A will not be 6, B will not be -1, C will be 0, and if you count the A plus the summation of the all the oxidation numbers of individual sulfurs, it will be not equals to 8, it will be equals to 10. 10. So the correct option is option 3. Okay. So this is a question from atomic structure from Bohr's model question. So in hydrogen atom, an orbit has diameter of about 16.92. So the diameter is given as 16.92 angstrom. And so the radius, if we find it out, so 16.92 by 2, it is around 8.4 angstrom. It is around 8.4. So we know for Bohr's radius, the formula to calculate the R will be R equals to 0.529 into n square by z in angstrom. So as this has given, suppose it is for given for hydrogen atom. It is given for hydrogen atom. So hydrogen atom, the atomic number will be 1. So we have to calculate the value of the n in this case. So n square is equals to R by 0.529. So R is 8.4 by 0.529. So it will be around 15.99, and we can consider it around 16. So the value of the n will be 4. Now it is asking the maximum number of electrons that could be accommodated in the orbit. So to find out this, so the maximum number of electrons is given by the formula 2n square. We all know this. So n is the principal quantum number or the orbit number. So n is 2 into 4 square, that is 32. The answer will be 32. So option 1. Okay. So our next question is asking the amount of heat released when 20 ml of 0.5 molar NaOH is mixed with 100 ml of 0.1 molar HCl. So students, remember one part, that this is a question which has asked for a strong acid. It is a neutralization reaction, and in neutralization reaction, okay, neutralization reaction, this is a case of strong acid plus strong base. So the strong acid is HCl and the strong base is NaOH. So it will always form a salt and water. So the specific number of moles are given, the volume and the molarity is given. So let us find out first the number of moles. So it will be 0.5 multiplied by 20 by 1000. So you can see that it is 0.01, and in this case, one more. So I have calculated it for NaOH. Okay. So and for HCl will be 0.1 into 100 by 1000. So this is also equals to 0.01. So you can see that if this has 0.01 mole and this has 0.01 mole, then the amount of product or the amount of water which will be formed, that is also 0.01. So standard enthalpy for neutralization in a strong acid strong base case is always, you have to remember this part, that for 1 mole of water formed in a strong acid strong base neutralization case gives a energy of about minus 57.1 kilojoule per mole amount of energy. So 1 mole gives this much amount of energy. So how much amount it has formed here? 0.01. So 57.1 into 0.01 will give me minus 0.571 kilojoule amount of energy. So it will be option 1. Okay. So let us come to the next question. So this is a question from organic and stereochemistry part, GOC part. So it has Fisher. It is asked that which two Fisher formulas represent a pair of enantiomers. So the relation between two enantiomers are that there should be a there should be mirror image relation, but they should be non-superimposable. They should be non-superimposable. So as you can see, let us check. So option 3 and option 4 in this case, if you check it out, so if you flip this part, if you flip this part 180-degree, keeping in the same plane, so it will become, sorry, so it will become this, and this is 3, this is 4. I am drawing ET, ME, Cl, OH. So as you can see that they are having a what kind of relation? Mirror image relation. But are they superimposable? Are they superimposable? If you check it out, if you place it over here, the groups are not superimposing each other. So the relation will be enantiomer. Okay. So the correct option will be between 3 and 4. The relation is between 3 and 4. So option 2. Okay. Okay. The again a reaction based question. So it is. Let us solve this question. CH double bond CH2. In the first part, it has given bromine in a non-polar solvent. Bromine in a non-polar solvent. Uh, this reaction is an electrophilic addition reaction. Electrophilic addition reaction. So what will happen here? It will form a compound like this. This is a vicinal dihalide which it has formed. And in the next, this is the product P. This is the product P. And in the next part, it has asked for elimination kind of reaction, where in the first case it has given ethanolic KOH in the heat and followed by a much more stronger reagent, that is NaNH2 heat. So this will actually take out the HBRs from these two parts and ultimately form a triple bond in this case, that is CCCH. So this has formed a alkyne, that is propyne. So this is our product Q. So after that, it has given the vapor of Q is passed through a red hot copper tube. So if we pass this through a red hot copper tube, it will show a reaction known as trimerization reaction. What will happen? It will form this product. This is 1,3,5 trimethyl benzene, and it is commonly known as mesitylene. It is commonly known as mesitylene. So the correct option will be option 4. Okay, so this is a question from F block. So the most common oxidation states of cerium. So you know that the lanthanide series is having a common oxidation state, that is +3, and apart from +3 there is one more case of cerium, that is the atomic number for cerium is 58, and that is +4, +3 and +4, because in +4 it attains a noble gas configuration. It attains a noble gas configuration, remember that. And cerium 3 plus, and between cerium 3 plus and cerium 4 plus, it is cerium 3 plus is more stable, remember this also, because cerium 4 plus gains one electron to form cerium 3 plus. So cerium 3 plus acts as a strong oxidizing agent. So the correct option will be option 1. Okay. So again, an organic based question, question number 77. So it has asked excess of HBr along with heat. So we have to check out where the bond cleavages will occur in this compound. So as you can see that this carbon is a sp2 hybridized carbon. This cleavage will not take place. Rather, this alkyl will get cleaved, and we will be adding one bromine here. So the products formed will be alcohol, phenol, and okay. So one more part is there, that will be also cleaved. That is this OH. This OH will also get replaced by a bromine atom. So the product formed will be BrCH2 Br. So let us check it out. So option 2 is the correct option. Okay, 78. Next question is 78. It is asking that how we will distinguish between, or how you can identify glucose and fructose. So the correct option will be bromine water. So how, let me explain. So bromine water is a milder oxidizing agent. Bromine water is a milder oxidizing agent, and you know that it can only oxidize aldehyde. So if you look out the structure for glucose, glucose is a aldose. It is having a functional group aldehyde. So it will easily bromine, if under the presence of bromine water, it will get oxidized to COOH. It will get oxidized to COOH. So from glucose, it will get converted to gluconic acid, and during this oxidation process, the bromine water gets decolorized. Decolorization takes place. But if we check out the structure for fructose does not have a aldehyde group, rather it has a ketone. So bromine water is unable to show any kind of oxidation to these ketose or ketonic group, ketose. So there is no decolorization occurring here, no decolorization. So no decolorization of bromine water. No decolorization of bromine water. So you can easily distinguish between these two. Remember this part. So these tolerance reagent will show a reaction with both of them, um, uh, and phenyl hydrogen will also form reaction with both of them. But only the bromine water is the reagent which can distinguish between these two. So let us come to the next question. Question number 78. Then, okay. So this is a question. It is asking the number of alkynes possible with molecular formula C5H8. So it is only asking for the alkynes, not any other kind of structures. So let us check it. So first we should calculate the degree of unsaturation. The formula to calculate will be 2C plus 2 minus H by 2. So the number of carbon atoms present in this is 5 plus 2 minus hydrogen is 8 by 2. So if we calculate 10, 12, 8, 4, 2, so the degree of unsaturation is 2. So the possible number of double bonds will be 2. Double bonds will be 2. So let us draw and find it out. So suppose C, 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 C. We can place the double bond at the end. C5. This is one of the structures. Then we can place the triple bond in one of the middle positions. This is one structure, and one more structure we can do. One, two, three, four, five. So I hope no more structures are possible in this case. So these are the three structures which is possible. So the correct option will be option 2, that is 3. We can only make 3 alkynes. Okay. So we are doing our last question in this case. That is from chemical kinetics, and this question is also a repetitive question, and try to understand this question, and it is asking for the order of the overall reaction. So what happens ki this is the main reaction, and you can see from this that it is a multi-step reaction. So in a multi-step reaction, the rate of the reaction mainly depends on the slowest step. So it has given the slowest step equation like this. Already it has been provided. So we have to just tell about the order. But one more thing. So let us solve it. So if we find out the rate for this slowest step, it will be R equals to K, suppose A and B2. But in the main equation, this A is not there. So this is actually a intermediate. So we have to replace this intermediate using the other two equations. So you can see that we can utilize this equation. So this equation is like A2 A plus A. So if I consider the forward as K1 and backward as K2, then at equilibrium this will become K1 A2 equals to K2 A square. So from this A will become, the value for A will become K1 by K2 A2 entire to the power half. So if we replace this value here, if we put this value and substitute the intermediate, we will be getting an equation R equals to K, K1, K2, A2 to the power half and B2. If I consider the entire constants as K dash, A2 to the power half and B2. So if we add the powers, then individual orders, rather the order of the reaction, the overall order will become half plus 1, that is 3 by 2. So the correct option will be 3 by 2. So hopefully you understand this session. We'll keep updated you on your next videos. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome to physics paper discussion of Re-NEET Mock Test 4. Let's see what we have in our paper. We'll start with the first problem. The question says the radius of a spherical drop of water is 1 millimeter. Surface tension is given. We need to find the excess pressure drop inside the drop, and it's directly coming from the formula. We know that the excess pressure formula is 2s by r if it is a drop, and if it is a bubble it is 4s by r. So delta P is equal to 2s by r. This is the pressure difference. You can directly use the formula to get your answer. Surface tension is 70 into 10 power minus 3, and the radius is 1 millimeter, means 10 power minus 3. So the answer is 140 Newton per meter square. This is the answer to the first question. Let's move to the next one. Figure gives the speed time graph, the ratio of the distance traveled during the first 2 seconds to the distance in the last 2 seconds. So first 2 seconds, the distance is the area under this graph, right? This is the distance traveled, and this area is 20 meter. This is half into 2 into 20, right? So this is half into 2 into 20, that is 20 meter in the first 2 seconds to the last 2 seconds. Last 2 seconds also, I think this slope is different. First 2 seconds the slope is 20 by 2 and this is 20 by 4, right? So if this is 20 by 3, so if this is 20 by 3, then I think this is 2, so this will be 2 into 20 by 3, right? So that is equal to 40 by 3, so it is half into 40 by 3. This area I need to calculate, right? This is 40 by 3 into 2. Okay, so I can calculate it. Half gets cancelled out, 2 will also get cancelled out, so it will be 3 by 2. I think that is the answer for the second question. Let's move to the third one. A passenger observes that raindrop makes an angle tan inverse 3 by 4 with horizontal, right, as the auto travels with 60 km per hour. What is the terminal velocity of the rain if it is assumed to fall vertically? This is a question on relative motion. You must understand that in relative motion we always use this formula: velocity of rain with respect to man is velocity of rain minus velocity of man. This is the formula we will use in this case as well, right? So if the velocity of man and auto, they are the same, so velocity of man is 60 km per hour in horizontal direction. I have to find velocity of rain. Velocity of rain is equal to velocity of man plus velocity of rain with respect to man, right? And velocity of man is given. Velocity of rain with respect to man, it makes an angle tan inverse 3 by 4. Tan inverse 3 by 4 is 37 degree with the horizontal, right? So I think this is the velocity of rain with respect to man. When I add these two, the velocity of rain is coming to be vertical, right? So the question is, what is the velocity of rain? I can say that if this angle is 37 degree, it is with horizontal, so this angle is 53 degree, we can say, right? Then this VRM into sine 53 degree is equal to 60. VRM into sine 53 degree, which is 4 by 5 sine 53 degree is equal to 60, because this component is completely balancing this one, and finally the component which is vertically, which is VRM cos 53 degree, is the answer for the VR. So VRM is equal to 75, and VRM cos 53 is equal to 75 into 3 by 5. So I think 45 kilometer per hour is the correct answer for this question. Okay. Moving to the next question. A stone is projected with 25 meter per second. 2 seconds later, it clears a wall 5 meter high. Angle of projection is. So the stone clears 5 meter high wall after 2 seconds. It is projected with 25 meter per second at an angle theta. 2 seconds later, it clears a wall of 5 meters. This wall is 5 meter high. So I can say its vertical displacement in 2 seconds is 5 meter. So vertical displacement is u sine theta into t minus half into g into t square. That is equal to 5. So from there we can say that it is 5 into 4. 20 to 25, 25 gets cancelled out. So theta equal to 30 degree is the answer for this question. Okay. Let's see the next question. An aeroplane moving horizontally 20 meter per second at height 80 meter is to drop a bomb. At what horizontal distance from the target should the bomb be released? The bomb be released means with respect to the aeroplane it is released, but with respect to the ground observer, the velocity initially the bomb has is the same as that the velocity of the aeroplane. Right. So the velocity of the aeroplane, right, if it is 20 meter per second, right, so the velocity of this bomb is also 20 meter per second, and it hits the target at a horizontal distance, suppose s, and this is 80 meter. So 80 meter it will take time equal to root over of 2h by g, 2 into h by g, right. So the time is equal to 4 second. Time is 4 second, and in 4 second time it travels 80 meters, right. That is the answer for this question number 5. Two slabs of identical dimensions have different materials K and 2K thermal conductivity. In series connection, the equivalent thermal conductivity of the slab is okay. Identical dimensions means this is one slab, another slab is this one. If they are connected in series, then the equivalent resistance we can say R equivalent is R1 plus R2. I am talking about thermal resistances, of course, and R equals to 1 by K into L by K, right? And this R is equal to 1 by 2K into L by K. So if I add them, then it is 3 by 2K into L by K, right? If I say this is 1 by K equivalent into L by A, right, then K equivalent is 2K by 3, which is option 3 is the correct answer for this question, right? Let's move to the next one. Two similar coils separately take 10 minutes to boil a certain amount of water. If both are connected in series, then what is the time taken? So 10 minutes to boil a certain amount of water. To boil a certain amount of water, the heat required is equal to M mass specific heat, Ms, into change in temperature. Right? Now the change in temperature, I can say that change in temperature, it is directly related to the power supplied by the heater. Right? So if I say that instead of writing it in this format, if I say that the power supplied by the heater is P, then P into T, power into time, is the energy that we have to supply, right? Now for the first coil, it takes 10 minutes. The power of the first coil is equal to delta Q by 10 minutes, right? And power of the second, two similar coils, right? Power of the second coil is also delta Q by 10. When I say that power is equal to I square R 1, and that is equal to I square R 2. Now if both are same, then what is the power equivalent of them? I remains the same because they are in series, so the current remains same, right? Into R1 plus R2. R1 plus R2 is nothing but 2R, so it is 2I square R, right? So if it is 2I square R, then the power equivalent will be twice into delta Q by 10, right? Which is delta Q by 5, right? So I think 5 minutes will be the time to boil the same amount of water. If now both are connected in series, what is the time taken to boil the same amount of water? Okay, we have to check once. Suppose the resistance of this coil is R and current is I. Both the coils are connected in series. Okay, I think here the current is not the same, but voltage is remaining same. That might also happen. It is not mentioned what is going on here. So if I take the voltage to remain same, then the current will be I by 2 because the resistance is double. So the current will be I by 2. So it is I square by 4. If it is I square by 4, then it is I square by 2. That means this 2 will come in the denominator in that case, right? So in that case, the time will be 20 instead of 5, right? 20 minutes will be the time for this question. So they have assumed the voltage to be the same. But in household electricity, actually the voltage, yes, the voltage remains same and current gets changed. So that is what it is actually doing. If it is a household electric supply, we know that the voltage remains same. Then if you connect it in series, then the current will become half from the previous example. Okay, let's take the next question. The temperature where RMS of hydrogen is 4 times the RMS at NTP, you can calculate that. RMS value is root over of 3 RT by M. 3 RT by M, right? So at NTP, if it is temperature T naught, right, then at which the RMS speed is 4 times of that is equal to root over of 3 RT by M. So the value of T is equal to 16 T naught, right? So the T naught value, normal temperature you can take and you can calculate. It's a very easy question. A particle executes SHM. It passes through the center of oscillation at t equal to 0 and t equal to 2 seconds. At time t equal to 2 seconds, velocity is 2 meter per second. The amplitude will be. So it is passing through oscillation center at t equal to 0 and at t equal to 2 seconds, its velocity is 2 meter per second. Okay. So if its time period is 16 second, time period is 16 second, then what is the amplitude we have to calculate? It passes through the center of oscillation at t equal to 0. In that case, we can write down the equation of oscillation, right? Equation is equal to x equal to a sine omega t, because at t equal to 0, it was passing through the origin. So there will be this phi will be 0 here, right? A sin omega t plus phi. This phase will be 0, initial phase. And at t equal to 2, its velocity is 2 meter per second. So velocity is equal to a omega cos omega t. So at t equal to 2, this velocity is 2 is equal to a omega. Omega is equal to 2 pi by time period into cos of omega t. Now omega is again 2 pi by time period 16 and the time is given 2. So it is pi by 4. Pi by 4 is 1 by root 2, right? So 2 gets cancelled out. A becomes 16 by pi root 2. Sorry, 16 by pi root 2. So pi, if you assume it's 3.14 and root 2 is 1.4, so I think it's 3, 4, 5. It's near about 7.2, right? It's near about 7.2 meter, right? Let's move to the next question. 50 kg man with 20 kg load climbs up 20 steps of 0.25 meter height each. What is work done in climbing? So the man with 20 kg load climbs up. So total load is 70 kg, right? So this is mg into 20 steps means 20 into 0.25, right? This much he has moved up. So the work done is equal to this one, whatever it is, 50, and I think 350 joule is the answer for this question. Very straightforward question. A force acts on a particle and produces a displacement. What is the work done? If the work done is 0, what is value of x? I think you are very much known about this formula, right? Aware about this formula. This formula is equal to work done is F dot ds. But here the force is constant, so integral of F dot ds. Instead of doing that, we can directly write F into delta s, right? F dot delta s. If you do a dot product, then it is 6 into 2, 12 and minus 3 into 2, 6, and it is minus 3x equal to 0, right? You can find the value of x from here. Two bodies moment of inertia about their axis of rotation, if their kinetic energies of rotation are equal, what their angular momentum will be in the ratio. Okay, moment of inertia is I and kinetic energy is half I omega 1 square, and it is equal to half 2I omega 2 square. In these cases, half I gets cancelled out, so omega 1 is equal to root 2 omega 2. Right? So what is their ratio of angular momentum? Angular momentum is I omega 1 by 2I omega 2. Right? So it is omega 1 by 2 into omega 1 by omega 2 is root 2. So the answer is 1 by root 2. Option 4 is the correct answer for this question. A block of mass m is pressed on horizontal force F1 against a vertical equilibrium. If m equals to 0.2 kg, means mg is equal to 2 Newton and F2 is equal to 5 Newton, then what is the minimum coefficient of friction between the wall and the block? Okay, so this block is also going to, it's trying to go down because of its weight, which is 2 Newton, and F2 is equals to 5 Newton and F1 equals to 10 Newton, right? So the net downward force is 7 Newton, right? What is the minimum friction? If it is mu, then mu into n. Now n is balancing this 10 Newton also. Mu into n should be greater than or equals to 7, right? So the answer for mu should be greater than or equals to 7 by 10. 0.7 would be the correct answer for this question. Okay, very simple question. From a uniform sphere of mass m, radius r, a spherical portion of radius r by 2 is removed, as shown in the figure. Taking gravitational potential V equal to 0 at r equal to infinity, the potential at the center of the cavity thus formed is, okay, uniform solid sphere of mass m and radius r, spherical portion r by 2 is removed, gravitational potential, the potential at the center of the cavity. Here I have to find the potential. You can use superposition principle to find it. According to superposition principle, whatever is the potential of this point due to this solid complete sphere, right, and minus the potential due to this smaller sphere, then I can find the total potential at this point. So I am assuming here that the bigger sphere has a mass m, right, radius r, and the smaller sphere then will have a mass, because the radius is half, so mass is proportional to radius cube, so it is m by 8, right, r by 2. So what is the potential due to this bigger sphere at this point? At this point, that we can calculate, right? There was a formula for potential, right? If you remember, it is something like gm by 2r cube minus gm by 2r cube into 3r square minus x square, something like that. So according to this formula, it is minus gm by 2r cube, right, into 3r square minus x is r by 2, so it is r square by 4, right? So it is 11 minus 11 gm by 8r. It is due to the solid one. Now if I subtract a smaller one, for the smaller one the x is 0 because I have to find potential at the center, and the radius is r by 2, right? So in that case it will be, for the center of the smaller one, it is minus 3 by 2 gm by 8 divided by r by 2, right? So it is minus 3 gm by 8. If I subtract them, then it is minus gm by r only, because plus 3 minus 11 is again minus 8. So minus gm by r is the correct answer for this question. You can just apply superposition principle to solve this question. I'm sure you have done this question while your preparation, but again it's worth to recheck again. A disk of radius 2r has a hole of radius r. If it floats on a liquid of surface tension T, what is the maximum weight of the disk? Now, if this is a disk, then the surface tension force acts on this surface, this length, as well as the force acts on this length. So this length is 2 pi into 2r into surface tension, and this length is 2 pi r into surface tension, and its weight is w. So I can say that the w must be less than or equals to 6 pi rt, right? So the maximum weight is 6 pi rt. Option 3 is the correct answer for this question. Let's move to the next one. What is the fractional change in the tension necessary in a sonometer of fixed length to produce 1 octave lower than before? Tension needed in a sonometer to of fixed length. Fractional change in the tension. Okay, we know that in a sonometer, if I say what is the fundamental frequency, if this length is L, then I can say that lambda by 2 is equal to L, and frequency is equal to velocity by 2L, right? That is the one frequency, right? Fixed, and to produce 1 octave lower than before. To produce 1 octave lower. So if there are n number of loops, then I can say that n lambda by 2 is equal to this one. So the frequency is equal to n into v by 12 frequency, because lambda equal to 12 by n and v by lambda equal to n v by 12. That is the frequency of a sonometer wire. Now 1 octave lower means half 1 octave means I think half of the frequency of the previous one, right? So the new frequency will be n by 2 n by n nv by 4l. The new frequency will be nv by 4l. I know that the velocity is equal, it is n by 12, and velocity is equals to root t by mu, and that is n by 12 root over of t prime by 4 mu. So you can see that the new tension should be, if they are equal, new tension should be 1/4 of the previous one, right? 1/4 of the previous one. Then only we can say that if the tension is 1/4, right, then it will be 1 octave lower, right? If the tension is 1/4, then it is half of the previous one. So if the tension is half, 1/2 means 50%, right? What fraction? I think 1/4. The tension is 1/4, right? So I think option 1 is the correct choice. A wooden block, another smaller wooden block is placed, floating. The distance L and H are shown. If the small block falls into the water and floats, if the small block falls into the water, small block also falls into the water and it starts floating, then what will happen? Look, of course, L will increase. L will increase. Okay, if I draw the free body diagram, then initially, if this is L and the cross section area A, suppose, with another smaller wooden block. Okay, so if it is L, this is A, then the buoyant force is say sigma is the density of water, sigma LA into G, right? Rho Vg, sigma Vg, that was balancing the weight of the smaller block as well as the bigger block. That was the initial condition. Now when it falls, then the same weight now is to be balanced. W1, W2 is to be balanced. W2, now this W2 is to be balanced. W1 is not there, so L should increase. Sorry, L should decrease, because earlier it was W1 plus W2. Now it is only W2, right? So if I say it is sigma L prime AG is equal to W2, then what will happen? Then this L prime, you can say L prime by L is equal to W2 by W1 plus W2, and it is less than 1. So L prime is less than L. L prime is less than L. So L decreases. L decreases. Option B is not the correct choice, right? L decreases. What about H? this height level. So if I say that now as it falls, water is still giving a buoyant force to this block as well, right? This block is also experiencing a buoyant force, right? It is sigma, suppose L double prime into A prime G, and it is balancing the W1 weight of this block. Okay. If you see what is happening with L prime, this L prime decreases. That means we are getting some amount of volume released, right? Is that volume going to increase the water level? Let us see. What is the amount of volume that is released? The amount of volume released is this minus this, LAG minus L prime AG. So the volume released is equals to W1, right? The extra volume released is this L minus L prime, actually the extra length that is released. I'm trying to find what is the L prime, finally L prime and initial L prime. What is the difference between them, L and L prime? The difference between L and L prime, you see that L minus L prime is equal to W1 divided by sigma A G. So this much into A, if you see, this much is the delta V, right? W1 by sigma G, it is the delta V that is released, right? This much delta V is released. And if I see that how much is the volume that is inside the second block, the top block is inside the water, that is W1 by sigma G, right? That volume is also the same. So can you understand what is happening? This much volume is released. This much volume is released, but this much volume is also utilized in here for the floating condition of the second wood. So what I think that H decreases, L decreases, but H remains unchanged. Option 3 is the correct choice for this question, right? It was a good question on buoyant force. This is the solution of it. If the heat energy given is 35 joules and the work done against the system is 15 joule, the change in the internal energy. So delta Q is equals to 35 joule, and that is equal to work done by the system, right? It says that work done against the system is 15 joule, right? Against the system is 15 joule. That means work done by the system is minus 15 joule plus delta U. So internal energy change will be 50 joule in this case. right? Plus 50 joule given to the system is plus 50 joule, right? That is a simple first law of thermodynamics question. On increasing the temperature of a gas filled in a closed metal container by 1 degree centigrade, pressure increases by 0.4%. Initial temperature of the gas is. On increasing the temperature of a gas, pressure increases. As it is a closed metal container, then volume remains constant. So pressure is proportional to temperature. So delta P by P is equal to delta T by T, right? It says that pressure increases by 0.4%. So it is 0.4 equals to delta T means 1 degree divided by temperature is initial temperature, right? Initial temperature of the gas. So initial temperature of the gas, I think on increasing the temperature increases by 0.4%. Okay, I have to convert this in fraction, right? 0.4% means 0.4 by 100, 0.4 by 100. So T is equal to 100 by 0.4, right? So it is 250. Right now, these temperatures, all this formula, they are must be in Kelvin. So I think this 250 Kelvin is the correct answer for this question. Okay, this yes, delta T, even if it is degree centigrade, the change in degree centigrade and Kelvin are the same, right? So I think this is the answer for this question. Okay. A body of mass executes simple harmonic motion on x-axis under the influence of a force as shown. What is the time period of oscillation? All right. So this force, you can see the equation of the force F equal to minus kx. What is k? You can see the slope is, this is 80 and this is 0.2, right? So it is 80 by 0.2, right? It is 400, right? So F equal to minus kx, right? Minus kx, and the mass is 0.1. So acceleration equals to minus 400 by 0.01, 1 by 100. So it is minus 40,000, right? So it is omega square. So the time period is equals to 2 pi by omega. Omega is 200, I think, right? Oh, this is omega square. So it is 20 into 10, 200. So pi by 100 is the answer for this question. A wave y equal to 10 sine ax plus bt is reflected from a denser medium at x equal to 0. It is reflected from a dense medium, right? If 81% is reflected, then the equation of the reflected wave is, okay, I am assuming it to be a transverse wave, right? And in that case, I can use, because in case of longitudinal wave, it may be different. From a denser medium, it is reflected from a denser medium. If it is reflected from a denser medium, right, then the reflected wave will have a pi phase shift, right? And if 81% of the energy is reflected back, right, 81% energy is reflected back, that means if it is 10, sine Now this energy is directly proportional to amplitude square, frequency remaining the same. So if 81%, if it is 81% of the energy reflected back, so if initial amplitude was 10 and final amplitude is suppose a square by 100, a square by 10 square is equals to 81% of the energy, means 81 by 100. So the value of a will be 9, right? But it is 9 sine of, if it is omega t plus kx, now it is moving in opposite direction. So it is bt minus kx. Right? I think this should be the answer for this question, because it is pi phase shifted, right? So there will be a minus sign also in here. So minus 9 sine bt minus kx, of course option 3 is the correct choice for this question. Okay, for transverse wave, all of we know that there will be a pi phase shift of a wave if it is traveling from a rarer medium and reflected from a denser medium. A 10 mu f capacitor is charged to 50 volt and then connected to another capacitor in parallel. Now the common potential difference becomes 20 volt. What is the second capacitor? So if it is 10 mu f, potential difference 50 volt, so it is 500 mu coulomb is already the charge on this capacitor, and it is connected in parallel to the another capacitor, so that the potential difference becomes 20 volt. If it is 20 volt, then this is 20 volt and this is 10 mu f, then it must be 200 mu f, and 300 mu f must come here because this is isolated system. So total charge must be 500 again. So this 20 volt and 300 mu f. So C equal to Q by C, Q by V. That means 15 mu f is the correct answer for this question. Got it? Imagine a closed surface surrounding an isolated point charge. Imagine a closed surface surrounding an isolated point charge. Now a second charge is brought to a point just outside the surface. The electric flux across the closed surface will not change because the charge within the closed surface is only taken into account while calculating the Gauss law. Right, will remain the same, but the shape of the lines change. What lines? I think it is electric field lines, right? Across the closed surface, the shape of the lines will change. The electric flux across the closed surface as well as the shape of the lines remain the same, as well as the shape of the lines will change, will remain the same. Option B is the correct option. Right? Outside the surface, it will not change. What is the current in the given circuit? Because these are trying to send currents into opposite direction. So 5 minus 2, 3 volt is the voltage and 30 ohm is the resistance. So 3 by 30, 1 by 10, 0.1 ampere is the current for this question. Okay. Radius of a current carrying coil is R. The ratio of magnetic field at the center of the coil to the magnetic field at an axial position, which is R distance away from the center. So the ratio of magnetic field at the center is mu naught I by 2R, right? And R distance away, it's mu naught IR by 2 into R square plus X square, means 2R square power 3 by 2. I think this is the equation. Mu naught I by 2 will get cancelled out, mu naught I by 2 r will get cancelled out, mu naught I by 2 r, right? So this is 2 root 2, I think. 2 root 2 is the answer. Option 3 is the correct answer for this question. Direct formula based question. Electric flux through a surface element 5 I cap placed in an electric field is, so E dot S, if you do, it is 5 into 4, 20 units is the correct answer. E dot delta S is the flux. It gives BH curve, the retentivity, coercivity and saturation of the material. Okay, look, the retentivity is this one, 1. Retentivity is 1 Tesla, right? Retentivity is 1 Tesla, and coercivity is 50 ampere per meter, right? So option 3 is the correct choice, right? And magnetic saturation is 1.5 Tesla, that you can calculate by extending this line. Time dependent current 2T is flowing from A to B. The induced current in the loop is, so if the current is here, then the current is producing a magnetic field dot here, right? So if the current is increasing, then this dot current is increasing, the dot current is dot magnetic field is increasing, so the induced EMF will be clockwise, right? And the induced EMF will be constant because the di by dt is a constant here, right? Increasing, so clockwise and constant and clockwise. Option 4 is the correct choice for this question. A circuit contains LRC connected in series. The values of the reactances for inductor capacitor are 200, 600. If the value of reactances are interchanged, the current in the circuit, LRC circuit, so IR, and this is I into XL minus XC. This is IR. So XL minus XC, if the values are interchanged, then the current in the circuit lags behind the voltage. The impedance will, no, so the impedance will remain the same, right? The power factor will, power factor also remains the same, but power factor means actually this angle theta, right? If I interchange them, then if this is XL minus XC, inductor and capacitor, so in general it is I into 400 like this, and this is angle theta, or phi, power factor, cos theta is power factor, and here it is XA minus XL, so it is I into 400 like. So you can see that the cos theta or theta will not change, right? The current in the circuit, initially the current, this is the voltage, initially the current was leading, right? Now the current will be lagging, right? So the current in the circuit lags behind the voltage is the correct answer. Got my point? Also, power factor changes means, look, the value of cos theta will remain the same, but power factor leading and lagging, if you write in that way, then it is also changing. But I think that it's only the power factor value it is asking, so it will not change. A coil has an inductance of 1 Henry and it is joined in series with 220 ohm. When the EMA, alternating EMF 220 volt 35 Hz is applied, the wattless component of the current in the circuit. So if I say that there is an inductance of 1 Henry and resistance of 220 ohm. So I into 220 is the I into R in the circuit, and I into XL is this one, right? If it is 35 Hz, then 1 Henry will become omega L. So it is 35 ohm, right? So it is I into 35 ohm, right? Now it is 220 volt. So 35 and 220, I root over of 35 square plus 220 square, that is equals to I into 220 square is equal to, that is equals to 220. If I calculate this one, then what is the wattless component of the current in the circuit? Wattless component of the current means current is equal to V by impedance. I can calculate current from here, right? Then I sin theta will be the answer. Wattless component is this one, right? The vertical current is the wattless current. I sin theta is equals to 220 by root over of 35 square plus 220 square. It is I into, now what is sin theta? Sin theta is equal to 35 by, this is Iz equals to V. So it is 35 by this is Iz, right? This Iz equals to V. This side is Iz equals to V. So I is equal to V by Z, right? And what is I sin theta? I sin theta in this triangle is sin theta is equal to I into 35 by 220, right? So I is again 220 by root over of 35 square plus 220 square. 220 into 35 by 220 square plus 35 square. You have to calculate this, right? It's a calculation intensive question. 220 into 35 by 35 square plus 220 square. You can calculate this. What current will flow through 2 kilo ohm resistor in the circuit shown in figure? If this is 72 volt, what is the current through this one? Okay, so it is 246,632,2168. So this current is 72 by 8, 9 milliampere, and this current will be distributed into 6 and 3. So it will be distributed 2:1 ratio. So it is 1/3 of 9. So I think 3 milliampere is the current for this question, right? Simple series parallel combination you can apply. A plane electromagnetic wave travels in space along x direction. If at a particular point in space and time, B is this one, what is the electric field? Right. So I think that E is equal to B naught into C. B is given as, if a particular point in space and time, B is given as 1.2 into 10 power minus 8 into 3 into 10 power plus 8. So it is 3.6, right? But if it is K cap, right? If it is K cap, wave is traveling along x-axis, electric field is along, suppose xyz, electric field is along this direction. So you must know that E cross B, right? E cross B, so B vector will be this one. So that E cross B will be along x-axis. So minus J cap is the correct answer for this question. 32 option 2 is the correct choice, right? Because E cross B equal to the direction of the wave. A thin prism made of glass, refractive index is combined with another prism of glass 1.6. The combination produces a dispersion without deviation, right? The angle of the second prism should be. So there is no deviation right? There may be dispersion but no deviation, and the deviation formula is mu minus 1 into a, right? So this angle of prism mu1 minus 1 into a1 is equals to mu2 minus 1 into a2. If both of them will produce a deviation in opposite side, then there will be no deviation. That gives 0.5 into 3 degree is equal to 0.6 into a2, right? So a2 is equal to 15 by 6 degree, right? So it's 5 by 2, 2.5 degree is the correct answer for this question, obviously. Next question says a ray of light is incident at 60 degree at the minimum deviation. The angle of incidence at the angle of incidence at the second phase of the prism. A ray of light is incident at on a 60-degree prism. Okay, on a 60-degree prism at the minimum deviation. Angle of incidence at the second phase. So this is the angle of incidence at the second phase, right? It is asking for this angle of incidence. As it is a minimum deviation, so I can say that these two angles will be the same, right? So that is 30 degree. Option A is the correct. And the minimum deviation means R1 equal to R2 and R1 plus R2 equals to 60 degree. So this is the answer. If an interface pattern have maximum minimum intensity 36 is to 1, interference pattern, if an interference pattern has maximum and minimum is 36 is to 1, then the ratio of amplitude of the incident beam on the two slits, okay, maximum and minimum intensity is 36 is to 1, ratio of amplitudes, you can see that the maximum is a1 plus a2 whole square and minimum is a1 minus a2 and amplitude square, that is 36 is to 1. So a1 plus a2 is equal to 6 times a1 minus 6 times a2, right? So you can see that 5a1 is equal to 7a2. So the ratio is 5 is to 7, 7 is to 5. Option 4 is the correct choice, right? You should remember this formula that maximum is a1 plus a2 whole square, minimum is a1 minus a2 whole square. Radius of curvature of the two surfaces of a lens 20 and 10. A point object P is placed at a distance 30 centimeter from the lens. The back surface silvered. If the refractive index is 1.5, then the image is, okay, I have to find out the equivalent say concave or convex mirror combination of this one. I am assuming that it is minus 1 by f of the equivalent mirror, right, is equals to, for this surface it is from air to lens, so it is 1.5 minus 1 by the radius of curvature is positive and it is 10. This surface radius of curvature is 20, right? So this is a mirror, right? So I am writing minus 1 by f. Instead of 1 by f, I will write minus mu by f. F mirror, this is a mirror and this is a convex mirror, right? The convex mirror has a focal length positive 1, right? So minus 1 by f mirror is equals to radius of curvature by 2, right? So it is 20 by 2, it is 10. And when again it comes back on this surface, then I will multiply the same thing here, right? So it is 1.5 minus 1 is 0.5, means 2 into 0.5, 1 by 10 minus 1.5 minus 0.5 by 10, right? So the focal length F equivalent is equals to 20. If it is F equivalent is 20 positive, positive means it is a convex. If it is a convex mirror, then convex mirror, I think the image is always virtual, right? And the image magnification is always positive, right? So virtual and magnification positive, it is the correct answer for this question, right? We do not have to calculate the values, but I'm sure that if you calculate, you will get the same answer. The photoelectric work function for a metal surface is 4.125. The cutoff wavelength for the surface. Okay, work function is given. The cutoff wavelength for this surface. So it's hc by lambda, right? This hc by lambda must be this energy must be greater than work function 4.125, right? So lambda must be less than hc by 4.125, right? I think hc equals to 12420 electron volt into Armstrong divided by 4.125 electron volt. So that must be the answer. It's something around 3000, right? Something around 3000 Armstrong will be the correct answer for this question. 3000, yes, I think something around 3000 will be the correct answer for this question. If the kinetic energy of electron is double, the de Broglie wavelength changes by a factor. De Broglie wavelength is equal to h by mv, momentum, h by p. Now I know that p square by 2m is equal to kinetic energy, right? P square by 2m equal to kinetic energy. So h by 2m kinetic energy E, h by 2m kinetic energy E is equal to P. If I say that the kinetic energy becomes double, then the de Broglie wavelength becomes 1 by root 2 times, right? 1 by root 2 times. Option C is the correct choice, right? Determine the ratio of perimeters in second and third Bohr's orbit, right? In helium plus iron. A ratio of perimeters means you have to find the radius, right? And you can remember the formula for radius, right, from the atomic structure. It's a direct formula based question. You can do it. Radius of the nucleus is 3r, then the radius of the nucleus, this will be, I think the radius of the nucleus is equal to r naught into a to the power 1 by 3, radius of the nucleus, right? And here it is 27 to the power 1 by 3. So if this is 3r equals to r naught into 27 power 1 by 3, so it is r naught equals to r. In that case, what is 125 r is equals to again r into means r naught into 125 to the power 1/3. So that is 5 r naught. 5 r naught means 5 r. That is the correct answer for this question. A nucleus of mass number 220 initially at rest emits an alpha particle. Q value of the reaction is given. Calculate the kinetic energy of the alpha particle, right? So the nucleus of mass number 220, suppose a nucleus is there, right? In any nucleus X, mass number 220 is there, right? It emits an alpha particle which is mass number 4, right? At rest emits an alpha particle plus 116 into y, suppose, right, plus some kinetic energy. Q value of the reaction is 5.5. Calculate the kinetic energy of the alpha particle. Okay, so I can say that if Q value is, if it is mxc square equals to m alpha c square plus my c square plus the kinetic energy, and Q value is the difference of the mc square, so kinetic energy is equal to 5.5 mega electron volt. But I can say that in order to conserve linear momentum, 4 into velocity of alpha particle is equal to 116 into velocity of y, right? So velocity of y is equal to velocity of alpha particle into 4 by 116. So 1 by 29, I think, right? What is the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is half into 4 into V alpha square plus half into 116 into Vy square. So that is half into 4 V alpha square plus half into 116 into Vy square. So it is 116 into Vy is again V alpha by V alpha into 4 into 4 divided by 116 into 116. 116 gets cancelled out and it is half V alpha square 4. I can say this is kinetic energy of alpha particle into 1 plus 4 1 by 29. So it is 30 by 29. That is equal to 5.5. That is equal to 5.5. You can calculate K alpha. I think it is 5.5 into 29 by 30. Very close to 5.5, but 29 by 30 means just less than 5.5. I will mark 5.4 for this question. It's a truth table. Now I have to check which truth table corresponds to this. Okay, A equal to 0, B equal to 0. If you check, if A equal to 0 goes here, B equal to 0 goes here, it is an OR function. It's an AND function, sorry. So this is 0, right? A0, B0, this is 0. Now this is 1, this is 1, and 1 comes to be 1. 1 or 0, it is 1. So x equal to 1, that is correct function, right? Is 0, 1, 0 also suits this one. If A0, B1, if A0, B1, 0 and 1 goes here, so it is 0, and it is also 0 and 1, so it will also be 0, 0, 0, 0. 0, 1, 0 also matches this one, right? Is it 1, 1, 1 true? If it is 1, 1 both, then it is 1, and it is 0, 0 means 0. 1, 0 means again it will be 1. 1, 0. If it is 1, 0. Okay, 1, 1 means if it is 1, 1, then it is 1. And it is 0, 0 means it is 0. So 1, 0, 1, and it is 1. Right? So 1, 1, 1, that is also matching this one, right? 1, 0, 0. Will it match? If it is 1, 0, then it is 1, 0 means it is 1, right? And 1, 0 means it is 0. 1, 0 or function is 1. So this is not matching this one, right? This one, is it matching? 1, 0, 0. If it is 1 and it is 0, so means it is 1, 1. It is coming to be 1. And it is 1 means 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 1, 0 is also 1. So 1, 0, 0, it is also not matching. 1, 0, 0, is it matching? 1, 0, so it is OR function. So it is 1, and it is 0, 1 or function 1 means 1. 1, 0, 1 also not matching. Is it matching? 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0 means 0 and 0 is 0. 1, 1 and 0, 0, 0. So if they are now in and function and function becomes 0 and this is 1. 1 0 1 1 0 1, that is also not matching. Whether the first one is matching or not. 1 0, that becomes and a function to 0, that becomes 0 1 to 0 to 0 1 0 0. I think option A is matching, right? Option A is matching with all the truth table conditions. A hollow metal sphere of radius 10 centimeter charge, so that the potential is 80 volt. The potential at the center of the sphere is also 80 volt because it is a metal sphere, right? So the potential everywhere is the same as the potential of the surface. A uniform time varying magnetic field is there. The magnetic field is perpendicular and the plane of the loop. Magnitude of the field is increasing at alpha. There is a copper ABCD square of side to the potential at A and B are VABB, A and B are VA and VB respectively. Then VA minus VB, what is VA minus VB? It is asking for potential difference. What is VA minus VB? Okay. So if it is, if I use this one, you do one thing. If I connect it, then we can say that integral of E dot dl, right? Integral of E dot dl is equal to alpha dBdt into area. Which area it is? It is 90 degree. So that means pi r square by 4. Right? E dot dl. So the potential difference and E dot dl, this is the potential difference also. Now this question, I think this is the EMF that I can calculate. EMF I can calculate this one. But what is the potential difference? Will there be any potential difference? I don't think so. If this loop is uniform, the resistance is everywhere same, then I don't think there is any potential difference developed, because potential difference means there must be some charge accumulation. But where will the charge be accumulated? Because everywhere the resistance is same. So the EMF is equal to alpha pi r square by 4, alpha pi r square by 4. But the potential difference, I don't think is there. There is no potential difference. It is 0. So the last question, 150 joule is added to the gas and the gas expands isobarically, right? The pressure remains constant. If the pressure remains constant, work done by the gas is 60 joule, then the gas may be 150 heat supplied and work done is 60 joule. So the delta U value is 90 joule. Right? Now this delta U, we know that if isobaric condition is there, pressure is constant, then work done is equal to P delta V is equals to NR delta T, right? And delta U is equal to F by 2 NR delta T. So if I say that 60 equal to NR delta T, so 9 by 6 is equal to F by 2. F equal to 3. So degree of freedom is 3, means it is a monoatomic gas. Helium is the only possible solution for this question. Okay, students, so I think you have got a good understanding and revision point of view. These questions are very good. You can definitely go through all the concepts where you are lagging behind, right? And take a note. All the best for your upcoming exam. Thank you for watching this video.